So if you could turn your attention inwards, sit comfortably. You can either close your eyes or lower your gaze, whichever way you. And welcome your experience just as it appears. So in God's kingdom, there is no disturbance. It is all a flow. Simply notice that all is well. At the source of your being. Whatever appears disappears. But you don't. You hear these words, and then there is silence. And words may appear again. Irrespective of the presence of the hearing or the absence of hearing. You are just as you have always been, meaning this effortless, aware presence. You don't need to do anything or to exert any effort in order to be. Being is. And it is not the result of any cause. And this isness is not an event in time and space. Thoughts may appear in isness, in being, perception appears. But it necessitates being for the perception to exist. And this being is what we refer to as I am. Which is not to be confused with I am somebody, I am a woman, a mother, a daughter, a son, a father. I am is absolute. While I'm a person, I'm a man, I'm a woman, is relative. It is the result of an interaction between a sperm and an egg. So there are two levels of being. One is relative, an appearance and a disappearance, which we refer to as existence. Like a rose may bloom in the rose bush. It appears sweet perfume. It has a temporary aspect. It exists in time and space. Like a thought may appear to you, a memory, an image. It is an event in time and space. A bodily sensation appears to you. Like hunger, for example. It exists until you enjoy a nice meal. And then hunger ceases to exist. So the realm of existence is the relative aspect of being. Like the weather. Like the singing of the birds. The sun shining through the window. The heartbeat. The sensation of your feet on the ground. They are all in the realm of existence, which is a relative aspect of being. And there is another aspect of being, which is the absolute aspect of being, which we refer to as I am. Which does not refer to the body, which does not refer to the sensation of hunger, which does not refer to the existence or non-existence of a thought or a perception. It refers to the reality, that which perceives this perception right now, that which truly is and truly perceives. The source of existence, the reality of existence is being. When we say I, mistakenly we assume that I refers to the body, to the female or male body. While I, in fact, refers to awareness, refers to itself, and not to its creation. So the meditation, the contemplation, is upon the reality of being. When I say I, what am I referring to? When I say I am referring to I. I am not referring to father or mother. I'm not referring to a son or daughter. Gender, age, refer to the body. I refers to consciousness. Impersonal, infinite, eternal. Formless, yet undeniable. The meditation, the contemplation upon I am is the gateway to the source. The gateway to God's kingdom. or God's queendom. Sensations appear and disappear. Notice that which neither appear nor disappears. In order to know your true self and to free yourself from the illusion of vulnerability and mortality, in order to free yourself from the sense of identity and the angst of judgment. Contemplate that which is the source, that which is ever present, closer than close. Not via the past, thinking, dreaming, and musing, rather via your direct experience, this instant. And awareness is I am. Requires no descriptive, because I am is sufficient unto itself. That which is refers to itself and is sufficient unto itself is absolute. God is that which from itself refers to itself as itself, without any secondary support. So explore the I, which is self-sufficient, which refers from itself to itself and as itself. Without adding any descriptive, any qualificative. Qualifier, qualifier, qualifier. You do not need to refer to a sensation, a feeling. You don't need to pursue an experience, attach yourself to an event, because they come and go. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute your mic and we can have conversations. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi. Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello. I have just a logistical question. I'm sorry it took me so long to ask this, but do you have a method of accepting donations online?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, thank you. I want to share my gratitude and express it to you verbally at the very least, because I do appreciate these sessions very much. I will look through your website though and see if there's a way of donating. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Hey, Maggie, I got a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and he said, "Why don't you just go relax and meditate?" Because it's like it just seemed like it's just a question that I don't know. I thought it was funny because it is kind of like a very intellectual kind of a question, I guess. But it's this idea that, and I don't know like what good it'll do for me to know this, but it's consciousness versus like I still don't understand how consciousness. I hear people say, and I think you said it too, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to this. That the consciousness does not need the body. But that's something I still haven't really been able to wrap my mind around. Like, because I do see from my point of view at this point, the body is acting as, like you used the word prism the other day. So the body's kind of like a prism. This is the way I understand it. The body's kind of like a prism for consciousness to work through and then to perceive and all that stuff.
Yes.
And, but does consciousness need an object or a conduit or a mechanism to work through, or does it work on its own without anything at all?
Yes, yes.
That's my question.
Yes, Frank. So in terms of the prism metaphor, the white light requires the prism in order to diffract into different colors. But it doesn't need to diffract in different colors. In other words, the white light, irrespective of the prism, is, as a metaphor, yes, the metaphor of the prism. So based on our experience, we know that firsthand that via the body-mind, consider the body-mind as a prism, via the body-mind, consciousness, meaning I, perceive this perception right now. I hear these words because there is a prism. The prism is the instrument, the body instrument. When we come to the white light metaphor, the prism is a crystal that has a certain purity, a certain quality that, if it's not just a piece of granite, it's a crystal. Similarly, the body-mind is a very particular instrument. And based on our experience, it is not possible to hear this conversation we're having right now without the auditory and without the brain functioning that has already been trained to understand the English language and to represent the sounds, because these are sounds, into images. So like, for example, you can say there could be a different sound, for example, كيف الأحوال. If I say كيف الأحوال, the particular prism which we refer to as Frank will not understand كيف الأحوال, but the prism which is referred to as Magdi understands that the sound كيف الأحوال means how are you doing in a different language. So yes, indeed, according to our experience, we can validate upon our experience that the world that we perceive, the sky, the rain, hearing the sound of the birds, perceiving the smell of an orange or the beauty of a rose, all of that, which are experiences, existence. We experience existence via the body-mind. Now, your question is, does consciousness need, well, I'm just gonna do my version of your question, and you can edit my version. Does consciousness need the body in order to perceive existence, to perceive the world, to smell and sound, etc.? The answer is yes. That's our experience. If a body is deaf, for example, if there is an issue with the auditory part of this prism, then I would not hear your question. I would need sign language in order to understand what you are saying. So the answer is yes. consciousness does indeed require the body in order to perceive existence. Now, it brings us to a couple other pointers. First, does consciousness depend on the body? That's a different question. Does consciousness depend on the body? So when you look at consciousness or awareness, you find that awareness is non-phenomenal. It's not made out of atoms, molecules, or it's not made out of flesh and bones. It's not made out of brain waves. It's just, there is no phenomenal aspect to awareness. By awareness or consciousness, I'm referring to the reality that perceives, the reality that hears his voice right now. Although the words are vibrations, sounds, the reality is not a vibration. Because a vibration, if consciousness was a vibration, then we would conclude that a vibration is hearing a vibration. But a vibration cannot hear. A perception cannot perceive. You follow? An object does not perceive. A thought does not hear or does not perceive a sensation. A sensation does not perceive a thought. A sensation does not perceive an octree. An octree does not perceive a thought. So we come to the understanding that, wait a minute, consciousness could not be a vibration. If consciousness was phenomenal, it would be a form. A form does not perceive. So by consciousness, we're referring to the formless, non-phenomenal reality which perceives. And we use the word sometimes the noumenal reality. Now, so the question then comes, how could something which is formless perceive something which is form? How could formlessness perceive form? So then we can go to the metaphor of your night dream. In your night dream, when you are dreaming, you perceive forms. You perceive night dreams, you perceive elephants, you perceive waterfalls, you perceive tigers, you listen, you hear music, you hear sounds, all sorts of events appear in your night dream. And from the perspective of the dream, they seem very real. They seem that they are forms, they are real forms. I was riding the elephant, and the elephant was a big one. It had two babies, and I was riding the elephant, and I was in India, or I was in Thailand, whatever. The experience seems very real, very quote unquote physical, until you wake up. Until you wake up. When you wake up, realize, wow, there was no elephant. This elephant, there were no baby elephants. I was not in Thailand, you see. So in fact, what seems to be form is formed from the perspective of the dream. It seems that there is a quote unquote dream reality. But in fact, the reality of the dream is you, the dreamer. You see? So it's important to comprehend that. You see?
Yeah, Patrick, I saw Patrick's name here, so I called you Patrick. So Magdi, so even the dream though, isn't that, we're not really making up the dream ourselves. It's coming from source, right? Because I can't see how a body mind goes to bed and creates all this stuff in his own. It's got to be, I'm not the source of a dream. This body mind can't be the source of my own dreams, right? And I may be getting off track with this, but this is a question
It's a good question. Let's look at it. Okay. Now, when you are in bed dreaming, you are dreaming some people in your dream. And you are also dreaming that they are talking to each other, for example. So you're not only dreaming the people, but you're also dreaming their conversation. You're dreaming not just the people, but even their mind, what they're saying and what they're hearing, and even what they're feeling. You see, it's really fascinating. It's not just you're dreaming a dream as well as the dream that's inside the characters in your dream. So similarly, the body, right now there's a body and there is a hearing, there is a perception. So we can conclude that I, the body, I'm perceiving. We can conclude and say, oh, well, I'm perceiving. I, the body, I'm perceiving. So I, the dreamer, which is a body, I am dreaming. So, which means the body is perceiving, is creating, the body is creating. So we need to take a look at that. It's an important question. When we refer to the body, we need to be clear what we are referring to. So we go to our experience, because if there is a reality to the body, then the reality of that body would be available to us this moment as our experience, right? Yes. So we go to our experience right now. We say, yes, what is our experience of the body?
Sensations, right? Sensations and feelings.
Feelings, images. Mm-hmm. There may be images. Images of...
Yeah. Images, yeah.
Yeah. So the body, we could say, is an appearance of sensations, images, memories, feelings, etc. Yes, would you agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Based on our experience. Now, this body that's appearing to us, for example, let's take a sensation, appears to us. It appears to whom? Does the sensation appear to the body itself? In other words, does the sensation appear to the sensation itself, or does the sensation appear to awareness?
Awareness, yeah.
Sensation does not appear to another sensation. Mm-hmm. A thought does not appear to a sensation. A thought does not appear to another thought. It appears to awareness. So therefore, although it may seem that the body is perceiving, it's not true. If we investigate, and we need to investigate, if we don't investigate, then it's a different matter. But when we investigate, it's really important, the inquiry. The inquiry has an investigative aspect to it. When we investigate our experience, we realize, no, the body is not perceiving. It's not the body who's in bed, who's dreaming, that is dreaming. The reality is that consciousness is perceiving. So coming back to your question about, is it the dreamer that is creating these dreams? No, they're coming from somewhere else. You're right. The dreamer, that when you are in bed dreaming, and dreaming whatever you are dreaming, and dreaming even the thoughts and the conversations of the characters in your dream, all of that is the dream of Shiva, is consciousness's dream. When you wake up, you realize, oh, it was a dream. And so you return to your waking state. When you wake up from the identification as I am Frank, it's also a higher level waking up. There are levels of waking up. There is a level of waking up from sleep. At night, you wake up in the morning from sleep. And there is the level of waking up, which means you wake up from the dream level, from the dream realm. You realize, it was all a dream. I didn't win $1 million. I didn't lose $1 million. There were no pink flying elephants. There is another level of waking up, which is you wake up from the identity as Frank. You wake up from the narrative, from your narrative, to the narrative that I am Frank. I am a character existing in time and space. I am the body, and the body is real. You wake up. When you wake up, you realize, no, reality is the reality of consciousness. And this waking up occurs within your understanding. It's different from waking up from sleep. In other words, the body doesn't need to die in order for you to wake up to the higher level awakening. The higher level awakening is the awakening from ignorance, from the sense of separation, and it occurs via your investigation, your inquiry, and via grace.
So is the night dream a dream within a dream?
Yes,
So,
absolutely. The night dream is a dream within the sense of that I am the dreamer.
mm-hmm.
And when you become free from I, Frank, am the dreamer, and you realize that in fact I, consciousness, am the dreamer, you still dream, but it's a dream that is void from any sense of impending doom or a sense of lack or unhappiness.
But it seems like a lot of dreams that we have do have aspects of our lives intertwined in the story. Sometimes not. So is that consciousness taking? How does that work? How does that work? Consciousness is sort of like dreaming up things that are related to this particular body mind. Is there a reason for that, or do you know how that works?
Consciousness, as long as there is the impression that I am the body mind, then all our experiences seem to be personal. As long as I am a person, there is an identification, we are unable to perceive the impersonal or the universal aspect of the events. Rather, right from the start, the mind is interpreting, putting the personal stamp, like the king's stamp, the personal stamp onto all our experience. And whether it's in the waking state or the dream state, the personal impression continues. And so it seems that there is some sort of a repetition or some sort of there is a similarity to the spin. So
like patterns, would patterns be a good word? Like patterns?
Yes, the patterns, there are patterns in the universe. There is the rotation, the gravitational field, and the galactic movement. There is a certain pattern. Yes? There is in the evening, the birds, they go back into the reeds to away from the busyness of so there is a pattern. But these patterns are impersonal patterns. For example, when there is a certain humidity and a certain barometric pressure, there will be rain. There's a pattern between moisture, temperature, barometric pressure, and rain. There are formulas that operate, let's say, but they're impersonal, which is quite different from the me pattern, that everything is about me. It's about me. The me pattern has its root in the belief that I am a person, that I is consciousness, that I am born and that my name is Frank, which is the name of the body. But the me feeling and the me pattern, the spin, the spin of the waking dream and the night dream spin has at its core the misunderstanding about the I. Coming back to your initial question about the relationship between consciousness and the body. Now, the body, as we said, is a sensation, perception, and thought, which is dynamic. This moment, you are not hungry. There is no sensation of hunger. So you're not experiencing your belly, or you're not experiencing hunger. But maybe in an hour, it will be different. The body will be a different body. It will be functioning in a different way. Now, The question is, does consciousness need the body? Does consciousness need sensation or needs perception? Well, if you look at the need, when you look at the need, A needs B. It cannot do without B. The body needs nourishment. It cannot do without nourishment. It needs nourishment. Maybe a time element. Maybe I can go for 5 days or whatever. But still, the need is there. The nourishment is there. If you don't provide the nourishment, the body will no longer be. Same thing in relationship. We need relationship for our peace of being. When we take you on the desert, we put you in the desert alone, you go crazy, you die. So there are needs A needs B. Consciousness is it's a different thing. Because when we say about A needs B, we're speaking at the phenomenal level. The body needs food, the body needs relationship, for it to rain, when it requires a certain moisture, a certain barometric pressure, etc. The mother needs her children, the children need their parents, whatever. We're at the phenomenal level. But consciousness is not phenomenal. So you're confusing levels to say, does consciousness need the body? You're confusing levels. Also, if you look at the body, it's a sensation A and then sensation B. When there is sensation A that arises hunger, for example, yeah, consciousness is there. There is awareness of hunger, right? Yeah. And when now there's a different sensation, you ate and you're no longer hungry, awareness is still there, right? You're aware that you're not hungry. If somebody tells you you're hungry, then no, Magdi, I'm not hungry. So awareness exists in the presence of a sensation, sensation A, sensation B, etc. Right? Yeah. But how about between a sensation A and sensation B? Between sensation A and sensation B, there is what we refer to sometimes in non-duality, there is a gap. Because if there was not a gap, there would be one sensation. The sensation of hunger and the sensation of being satiated would be one sensation, and that's crazy. You cannot both at the same time feel hungry and satiated. You know what I mean? It's not possible. So there is a gap between sensation A and sensation B. Yeah. Although there is a gap between hunger and satiation, you don't cease to exist. You are. Awareness is. Awareness exists in the presence of, quote unquote, the body, defined as a sensation, and exists in the absence of the body, which we refer to as the gap. So consciousness is across the board. So it's like it's the ocean. The ocean can be no waves. Let's say it's no waves. It exists in the absence of waves. And it's the same ocean in the presence of waves. The waves don't have a reality outside of the ocean. Sensations, the body, does not have a reality outside of consciousness. Because if the body had the reality outside of consciousness, there would be two realities. The reality of consciousness, because we know we are aware, and the reality of the body. How can there be two realities? There cannot be two realities, because if there were two realities, we wouldn't even know that. They wouldn't even know each other. Two separate realities. They wouldn't even know each other. So for me to say, yes, there are two realities. There is the reality of consciousness and the reality of the body. That must imply that I know both realities. If I know both realities, then I am connected to both of these realities. They cannot be separate from I, who knows them. which we return back to one reality, I, the knower, I, awareness. So you need to be clear about one reality.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not clear about the one reality, you need to reflect about that, upon that, and bring up your contemplations and your inquiry until you become clear that yes, there is a reality, which is a reality of awareness. We're aware, undeniable, that which does not come and go. And yes, there is a body, perception, sensation. We cannot deny hunger. We cannot deny a wave. There's a wave. But what is the reality of the wave? Does the wave have an independent reality from the ocean? An independent reality from water? No. No. No.
So I think it's the gaps that I always have a problem with, or like, you know, sleeping. I know that awareness is there when I go to sleep, and it's there when I wake up. So I know it never went anywhere. It was there. I don't know where, but it was there. And like you say, there's one thought, and then there's a gap, and there's another thought, and then maybe one perception, and then there's like a gap. And so I guess I always wonder where, like, it's not awareness doesn't seem to be present, but we know it's there because it comes in after the gaps. So I guess
in the absence of a sensation, it's not awareness that is absent. It is the sensation that is absent.
So without a sensation, awareness has nothing to perceive. Therefore, it seems to not exist at that moment, at that time.
It seems to not exist phenomenally. In other words, from the perspective of a thought or a sensation, heck, there is no sensation, so therefore there is no awareness. So there is, if we assume, and that's an assumption, at least I'm saying it's an assumption, you need to double check for yourself. If we assume that the proof of awareness is the existence of a sensation, then based on our assumption, the absence of a sensation implies the absence of awareness. So we need to look at our assumption that the presence of a sensation is the proof that is the presence of awareness. In other words, the proof of awareness is a sensation. The proof of the ocean is the wave, not the water, is the wave. The proof of the ocean is the wave. The proof of the sky is the cloud. A sensation, if the sensation is the proof of awareness, then it's very simple. All we need to do is go to the sensation and find awareness within the sensation, right? Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I kind of lost you there.
Let me repeat.
Yeah.
If the sensation is the proof of awareness, in other words, the presence of a sensation that demonstrates that there is awareness. I lost your video. Oh yeah, here you are.
Coming in. I got.
Yes.
Thanks.
So if a sensation is the proof of awareness, all we need to do is go to the sensation and find awareness within the sensation, because it's the sensation that is a proof. So we go to the sensation, right?
Yeah.
So we go to the sensation looking for awareness. We open the sensation, we look inside the sensation, and we find, here is awareness, right? Let's say, I'm just play with me. We open the sensation like we open a clam. We look inside, and we find the pearl. We find awareness, right? Yes? Let's say.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay. Now, who found it? What found awareness?
Awareness.
So you see You see you see what I'm pointing to?
To a certain extent. I can't say I get it all.
Yeah. How could awareness go and find itself? It goes, it says, oh, I must be inside this. The sensation is my proof. So, you know, that's where I exist. I exist because of the sensation. I go to the sensation and find myself.
Yes.
You follow?
I do follow. Yeah, I follow that. Yeah.
The sensation, that's another thing that I just want to mention to you before we move on, is let's say that the sensation is the reality of consciousness. So reality is that which does not come and go. Would you agree with me?
Yes. Yeah, it's got to be something that's steady, that doesn't go anywhere. Yes, I get that.
Well, that's not the case with sensations. Right?
I guess what the mind says to me is that, well, sensation is something that, even though sorry about another call coming in, sorry about that.
Okay.
So sensation is something that is there to be seen or to be felt or to be, perceived. But when there's no sensation, there's nothing there to be perceived. But there's nobody saying, awareness isn't sitting there saying, like, when we're asleep, it doesn't seem to me like that awareness is there saying, I don't see anything. I'm not perceiving anything. There's just nothing going on.
Yeah, it's true that when there is no sensation going on, I could say, I wouldn't say there is nothing going on, but I would certainly say there is no sensation going on. But the fact that there is no sensation going on does not mean that there is no awareness going on.
But that's what I know.
Except if you are assuming that the proof of awareness is the existence of a sensation. If you are assuming that the existence of a sensation is the proof of awareness, then I would conclude, well, hey, listen, there is no sensation going on, therefore there is no awareness.
Well, I guess we know there is, because after there's another sensation after that. So there's a gap, and then there's another sensation. Oh, it was there, but I didn't know it was that. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of being there until another sensation came up.
Okay. When you say I am not aware, what is the I? What are you referring to when you say I was not aware?
I guess I was thinking of awareness itself, because I know the I is awareness. So
awareness is not aware? If you say I was not aware, and by I you mean awareness, therefore you're saying awareness is not aware. If all you do is replace the word I with awareness.
Okay.
Awareness is not aware. That's madness. How could awareness not be aware? I mean,
yeah, that is crazy.
It's like saying water is not water.
Okay, so how do you explain the sleep when we do like deep sleep? How do you explain that? We know we come out of it and awareness is there when we wake up in the morning, but there's not a part of us that says, oh, I remember at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was completely out, but I was looking around, everything was dark. Well, there was no record of it.
Deep sleep is the evidence of the absence of experience, but not the absence of awareness.
And we know that because?
We know that because we know that awareness is not objective. In our experience right now, we know that awareness is not objective. Again, by awareness, I'm referring to the reality which perceives, the reality of being. So awareness is not, it doesn't have a density, doesn't have measure, doesn't have a size, doesn't have a gender, doesn't have any phenomenal quality. Would you agree?
Yes. Yep. Seems to be that way. Yeah.
Would you agree like 1,000%, right?
Yeah.
So we know that awareness has non-phenomenal qualities. And so then we say, well, wait a minute. When there are no perceptions, which are phenomenal qualities, what happens to awareness? Where is awareness? You are mixing levels. You are asking question about the non-phenomenal from a phenomenal perspective.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the answer to your question, what happens to awareness during deep sleep? Nothing. What happens to awareness during the waking state? Nothing. What is happening to awareness now? Nothing. What is going to happen to awareness when the sun is going to swallow the earth or whatever it is the sun is going to do? Nothing. Because they're different levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's like asking, what's going to happen to the dreamer when the lion who is chasing me in the dream, you're running away from a lion. It's like asking what is going to happen to the dreamer when the lion eats, well, it's me, in the dream. Let me give another. So it's like asking what's going to happen to the dreamer when the dream is a hula dance in Hawaii, and that hula dance in Hawaii is going to end. There will be no more dancing, no Hawaii dance. Now suddenly we are a bird, we're flying as a bird. What's going to happen to the dreamer when the birds stop flying? Boom, they stop flying. Is anything going to happen to the dreamer if, for example, a certain dream ends? It's like asking that question. Obviously, nothing happens to the dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
It's at same level. You're mixing the level of awareness, which is non-phenomenal, with thoughts, sensations, perceptions, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings, memories, with the body. What happens to awareness when the body dies?
Well, that's the biggie, right? I guess everybody thinks everybody just dies or they go on in some kind of spirit form or whatever. But
who cares what people are thinking? We can explore that right now. What happens to awareness when the body disappears? Well, in deep sleep, the body disappears every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some people say, oh, no, it didn't really disappear because it's still there, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, all right, it's still there for you. For you who walked into the room and woke me up.
Mm-hmm. But
there was no but. Also, we don't need to listen to what people believe about death. You can look right now at your experience right now. Every moment, the body is changing. Okay, forget about every moment. Where is Frank, 8-year-old Frank right now? Remember Frank, the 8-year-old?
Oh, yeah, sure do, yeah.
Where is 8-year-old Frank right now?
He's long gone, or he's in here, I guess.
No, I want to see. He's not gone. Bring him on. Bring him forward. Where is he? I want to see him. I want to see him because look, I mean, I'm investigating the death of the body, and I want to know what happens to awareness. So I asked myself, okay, where is this 5-year-old Magdi? I want to see the 5-year-old Magdi.
Mhm.
Where is he? He's dead. He's more dead than dead.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
He's so dead. You know what? Where is the Frank of 5 minutes ago?
Mm.
Forget about the 5-year-old Magdi. Where is the Magdi of 5 years, 5 minutes ago?
Mm.
Gone, completely gone.
Gone, yeah.
Oh no, it's not gone. You know, I took a picture of you. Here it is, the same picture. No, because you're using a camera.
Mhm.
You're using a camera. Why don't you use an electronic microscope? You know, take a picture of me with the electronic microscope, and you will see what's really happening.
Mhm.
You will see. I don't know if you've ever looked at. You know, you can go online and look at some of the images
Well,
on
the body's changing all the time. So we're really, a body's constantly changing.
Yeah.
Uh,
The instrument, our perceptual instrument is limited. So we perceive as if there is no change. We perceive, oh yeah, it's the same table, it's the same blah, blah, blah. Imagine that you have a different brain that is the brain of very, very powerful computer that you can perceive X-rays, that you can perceive radio waves, that you can, imagine that just the instrument is changed. The instrument is altered. Your perception will not be, you're perceiving the same. It will be totally, totally different. You will be seeing all sorts of gamma rays and all sorts of sun rays and flowing through this entire room will be, right?
mm-hmm.
The physical body mind is different. It's the instrument. So when you are contemplating, asking question about consciousness from the point of view of the relative, you are mixing dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting that now. Yeah. So is the dream, like some people call this the dream state, the walking dream, right? We have the night daydream. So is that a good metaphor for what we're kind of like being lived, as in like sort of like a dream in God's mind, as I think some teachers call it that. I don't know if you've ever called it that, but
yes, I would say that, except it's important for you to understand that I is God's mind. It's
you say that again. You and I.
But I need not you and I didn't say you and I.
Okay,
I. What I is. I. What is I? When we say I, what are we referring to? This moment.
The one I, the one being.
But not as an idea. Go to your experience of I.
Yeah.
Not as an idea of one being. Of course, we have beautiful ideas. Forget about one being. It's your experience of I. I is transparent, the reality that perceives. I is not perceived, right?
I is the perceiver.
Yes. Go to that experience of I is that which perceives. Don't call it the perceiver.
Mm-hmm. That which
experience, and right now this experience, that go to the I that perceives, that which perceives. You don't even need to call it I. Go to that which perceives. Go to that which perceives. It's transparent. That which perceives is transparent.
Yeah.
And it's not. It doesn't. It's not 5 meter long or 10 meter long, or it has no physical, no phenomenon quality yet. You cannot deny that reality. So yes, you could refer to this as a waking dream, but I am the perceiver of this dream, and I am the reality of this dream. The dream is an appearance. I am not an appearance. I am the reality, but I am not an appearance. Appearance, I perceive an appearance, but I do not perceive I as an appearance. And yet it's undeniable that I am. The I is undeniable, but it perceives a certain perception, but it is not a perception. So you have to go to that. Not in your head, not yes, don't understand it. Sense it, feel it, be it. I don't know what the words are.
Yes. Okay. Good. This is good for me today.
Right.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Okay, Frank. Thank you for your questions. Okay.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes. Hello, George.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting when Frank started. He said, "Oh, I have a very brief question." It was very.
Yeah. Take it up with him. Okay?
No, I'm not objecting. I'm not objecting.
Just kidding.
It was a great conversation. Okay.
Yes.
And what seems to me is that the I consciousness is not perceived, but consciousness is known.
It is not known phenomenally, like
No, it's not known.
the color of your car or the size of your shoes or anything like that.
No, that's yes, but when you say, "Am I conscious?" I say, "Well, yes, I'm conscious."
Yes.
And the only way I can say, "Yes, I'm conscious," is to I call it a sense or knowledge somewhere there.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so there's a knowledge. It's
Yes.
not a perception.
Yes.
It's not a vision. It doesn't come through the five senses or anything like that.
Yes. Yes.
But it is known.
Yes.
So it's like consciousness knowing itself.
Absolutely, undeniably, because awareness, by the very fact of being awareness, it's made out of awareness. Awareness means knowingness.
Right.
So, right from the onset, it knows itself. But it's not limited to only knowing itself. It also is creative. It is a creative. Then the fact and the proof of its creativity is this conversation we're having right now. Or the sensation of hunger, or this hearing the birds.
Yes, I get it, because no, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to say, well, no, I'm producing the conversation, but I know that's not true. There's no I here that's producing this conversation. So when you first said it was creative, I didn't get it. Then as soon as you pointed out, yeah, I get it. So
But it is I that is creating the conversation, but there's only one I.
Right.
And it has no name and no age and no gender.
Yes. Yeah. And that I get it and I don't get it. Right? Let me ask the question this way. So let's say that the body dies. So there are no perceptions, because the body is the vehicle for perceptions.
Yes.
And
no phenomenal perceptions.
No phenomenal perceptions.
No phenomenal perception of the world, but no human phenomenal perception.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
to be specific,
consciousness goes on. And here's what I really quite don't understand. The I that is consciousness, what is that at that point? If there are no perceptions, is it just like being in deep sleep?
The closest answer I can share with you about that experience, about the question that you're asking, consciousness without objects, is when you are in love, or when for an instant you comprehend something, or you're in front of a wonderful masterpiece, and it sort of transports you. It's hard to describe. That is the closest I can answer that question to you. It is the experience of understanding, which is non-phenomenal. I know that the mind arises afterwards and says, oh yeah, I got it, blah, 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 blah. It is the experience of love, which is non-phenomenal. And I know the mind comes and says, oh, I loved him and her because of this and that, and makes a narrative. It's the experience of happiness. And I know the mind arises and says, oh, I'm happy because blah, it was much better than it's. But I'm referring to before the narrative. Your question, the answer to your question is there.
Okay. When I say okay, I don't understand it, but I can. Well, I can expect to understand it.
Yes. So in the experience of understanding, or happiness or joy or love, there is no object. There are no objects. We know that experience.
It seems to me that when I have that experience, there are objects present.
Well, then you're not talking about understanding. There is an object that...
Okay, when you talk about understanding?
Yeah, understanding or...
I thought you were talking about love. Okay.
Let's talk about love.
Okay.
If there is an object, then there is a limitation. There is a subject and an object. And so...
Yes, I get it now. Yes.
There is love, but it's actually, maybe you can call it desire or infatuation, or it's not love. In love,
I get it now. Yes.
There's no object and subject.
There's the, I love that.
Yes.
That's different.
It's different. It's different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that now. Yes.
Right. So your question is addressing your question is addressing, and excuse the words if they're improper, but an experience which is non-phenomenal. So I can only point you to the quote-unquote experience, which is a non-phenomenal experience of understanding or love or happiness.
Okay. See, I was going to say, well, how can an experience be non-phenomenal? But now I understand that I've had an experience where, like, there's been a moment of understanding. Aha! Okay.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I said quotes unquote. I hesitate about using the word experience, but I right now that's what's coming to.
Right. There's no other word to use.
Right. It's a non-experience because there is no body mind in there. There's body mind before and after, but at the moment of understanding, it's the aha, as you said, the aha. So I'm speaking in a relative language. So you have to bear with me.
No, that's fine. And what I noticed is that after the aha, there's a memory of what went on before the aha.
No.
And
yes, sorry, before the aha, yes.
Before the aha.
Yes.
And what's the status now? And I can perceive the difference.
Yes, absolutely, because there's been a difference.
Exactly.
The mind has been transformed, or the body mind has been transformed by the understanding. Yes, you perceive the difference. Correct.
Right. So that's one sense. I don't want to use the word perceive, but that's one sense in which I can be aware of or measure. Or my mind can make something out of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had that kind of experience frequently.
Oh, of course, of
It's
course.
something, you know,
Sure.
I didn't understand something and later I did, yes.
Sure. So it is that non-experience that transforms the mind.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It is that non-experience that transforms the mind.
Sorry, okay. Non-experience.
The understanding.
Oh, okay, I get it.
A non-experience.
Okay, yes, I get it now.
It is that insight and non-experience. I'm using the word non-experience.
Right.
That affects the mind, transforms the mind.
Got it, yes.
And you can tell from the pre and post. You see?
Right.
You can, pre and post,
There's a difference, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to say one more thing.
Yeah.
And that is, I really want to thank you for everything. I mean, I've been with you for a long time. I will probably be with you for a long time in the future. I don't know. But I really appreciate these sessions. I find the meditation very valuable. And I find the questions and answers valuable. Sometimes someone will ask a question which seems to me totally irrelevant from my point of view. They've got a problem with, they've got a problem with work or problem, whatever. And it looks like, hey, this is irrelevant. I don't want to pay attention to this. But I'm really impressed in your answer. You seem to answer the question on the level at which it was asked. And yet you also make it relevant. So I just want to express my thanks and appreciation for that.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Any questions?
Yes.
Hello, Anna.
Hi, Magdi. This
Yes.
is Anna. How are you?
Very well, Anna. Hello.
What you just told him, first, I would like to say that I feel very blessed and privileged to have access to your patience and love and attention. And my question is, what you are saying all the time, whatever answer it is that it's not you who are answering it, because you are not connected to the mind when you are answering it. You are answering connected to divine conscience without any effort. Is that what you say?
In fact, Anna, there is only God in God's garden. There is no other. Sometimes we have the impression that the ocean is not there, and yet we are standing by the ocean, but our back is turned to the ocean. We are looking in the other direction. We are all God's children equally. We are all this one reality, this one consciousness equally. It's just that there is a download, the me download, a good boy, a good girl, you've been do this and don't do that, and why did you do this and why? And because we have this, as God's creation, we are orchestrated to sort of be like a leaf that falls off a tree. The wind can blow it this way, then another wind blows it that way, another wind blows it this way. So because we are in a way like that, we pick up all these different impressions, which somehow at the feeling level, we feel like we want to protect. What we're trying to protect is ourself. And in fact, ourself there is only one self. It's always God's self. So we, in a way, protecting ourselves is protecting God, but God needs no protection. But the intention of protecting ourselves, it's innocent. It has love in it. Loving oneself is love in sort of with a little misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is that is that we are not the love, is that love is personal. So everything that we experience appears to us. Everything that we experience appears to us from God, from the universe, from the cosmic consciousness. But because there is the conditioned mind, it acts as a filter. It filters out the light, and we confuse the shadow to be the light. So then we're looking for the light in the shadow. So we have to sort of get on the other side of the veil, on the other side of the filter to see the light. We have to look in the direction of the filter and the direction of the veil, and to see that, in fact, there's just clouds. There is no reality to them. It's not really a veil. It's just an appearance. So the sense of me, the thoughts about me, the sensations, they're just appearances. They're appearances. The sense of, oh my God, what's happening to me, the thought and the feeling are just appearances, because 10 minutes later, you forget about it and you're really enjoying a nice bowl of ice cream or whatever, What happened to that sensation, Or even sometimes you are feeling awful for 3, 4, 5 days, and then suddenly you receive a postcard from a friend that you haven't heard from in 5 years, 10 years. Boom, you are so happy, wow, oh my God, they still remember me. It's so nice. You start having memories about all the good times you spent together. So we need to comprehend that everything that's appearing to us, all our stories, everything that appears as thoughts, sensations, events, they're not what we are. They are just appearances, and that we are, our freedom and our joy and our happiness is there for us. And somehow God is playing a game of, here I am, find me. Here I am, find me. Where are you? Where are you? Where we look everywhere. Where are you, God? Where are you? What is the happiness you promised me? I know you are the happiness. Where are you? Here I am. Here I am. Here I am as what? Here I am as your very self. Not your story about me and him and why she did, what's going to happen to me tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. No, here I am as yourself. Here I am as your very self. My very self? What do you mean my very self? I. What do you mean? Do I need to explain to you your very self? I need to point out to you the following. Your very self is not the story about you. It's not the story. It's not the story about the world, about your mother, about your neighbor, about your boss, about... How can you not be your very self? Because you are in the story, in the narrative. You are trying to find out about yourself via thoughts and perceptions and stories and memories and past trauma and future hopes. Please, why do you dissect yourself in so many billion pieces and parts, looking for yourself, trying to put all the pieces together? Here you are, complete. Not as a bundle of memories and images and impressions, but as consciousness.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna.
This is Lulu. From the conversation that I...
Yes, hello, Lulu, yes.
I gathered we are, as human beings, we are the pattern of the consciousness playing by itself. within the object subject being here in one part of the universe, not the whole universe, but part of the universe.
Yes, Lulu, that's one aspect of our experience, but there is another which is more important, which is that of I awareness. Yes, I understand what you're saying about I, Lulu, I, Magdi, the play of consciousness in the universe at this point in time and space. But there is another dimension that is going on right now in this moment, which is I awareness. And I awareness is not called Lulu or Magdi or any, it's not an event like the event of the body-mind of Lulu or the body-mind of Magdi. This I awareness is not an experience, it is the reality of I. We cannot deny awareness, right? I mean, awareness is undeniable. So
right.
Awareness is what is the steady eddy. That's it's always there, irrespective of what's happening in your body, what's happening in the world. But it's always I awareness. The same I when Lulu's body-mind was 15-year-old or 20-year-old or 25-year-old, it was the same I awareness. That aspect of our experience is what I point to, because somehow via the senses of the body, we get wrapped up in the sensations, perceptions, experiences, etc.
Yeah.
And we overlook, because of our fascination with the senses, which is fascinating, the senses are fascinating, but we overlook our reality. And when we overlook our reality, there is somehow an impression that my reality is the body.
That's not what I'm referring to. What I was referring to is the consciousness itself.
Yes.
That each and every one of us call I.
Yes.
The consciousness itself is a pattern of universe that shows up in us as individual eyes.
I see. Yes. No. So if I consciousness is a pattern of the universe, if I heard you right, you can correct me if I again misunderstood you. If I consciousness is a pattern of the universe being, just so we define the terms, the universe being a phenomenal realm. Yes. So if I consciousness, which is not non-phenomenal, we have to agree here before we proceed that consciousness is not phenomenal. The universe is phenomenal. The body, in fact, is part of the universe.
Right.
We exist within the universe. The cells, the molecules, the atoms, everything, So the phenomenal aspect of the universe and the non-phenomenal reality of consciousness. So by saying that consciousness is the manifestation, in a way, and maybe changing your language, of the universe, we are saying that the non-phenomenal arises out of the phenomenal.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I think we need to take a look at that.
Got it.
The only phenomenal arises out of the phenomenal. The phenomena of the sperm, the phenomena of the egg, they contact each other, is a phenomena of the baby, of the fetus, etc. The acorn phenomena of the acorn with the phenomena of rain, with the phenomena of the nourishment in the earth, sprouts into the oak tree. So, but consciousness which is non-phenomenal. I refer to consciousness as the reality of our experience, because right now, I is consciousness. It's unchanging.
Right.
Body changes, the universe changes, oak tree changes, but I consciousness doesn't change. So the changeless does not arise out of the changing. One could say that maybe it's the other way around. The changing arises out of the changeless, like waves, which are changing, arises out of water, or the ocean, which is changeless, as a metaphor. But not the other way around. The ocean does not arise out of the waves.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
Our primary experience and uninterrupted experience, our ongoing experience, is that the I consciousness. And the body keeps changing. 20-year-old body, 30-year-old body, 40, whatever, changing. Thoughts keeps changing, but I remain the same. You know, thoughts appear, disappear, sensations appear, disappear. The world, I don't know, changes. I remain. The years go by, 1920, 1930, 1940, whatever, I remain. Yes?
The awareness within us, which we call it I, is always the same.
Yes, the awareness that is within us.
Or at least we recognize as within us, maybe.
Yes, it is the same, but also the body appears within awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness does not appear within the body. Our experience is that I perceive the body. My experience is I perceive a sensation, I perceive a thought, I perceive a form, I perceive my hand, I perceive my image in the mirror. So the body, the world appear to awareness. Awareness does not appear inside the world or inside the body. But I understand, you know, what you're saying. I just wanted to clarify that in our experience, everything that we experience appears within awareness. Like right now, these words are being heard within awareness. It's awareness that is present, sort of like a large ball, and the sound is being heard within it. Awareness is not inside the sound. The sound appears within awareness. So the world appears to you. The body appears to you. Thoughts appear to you. Perceptions appear to you. You do not appear. You are the screen of consciousness, of awareness, as a way of speaking. And that field of awareness, of consciousness, you don't burn it with fire. You cannot drown it in the water. And it's so beautiful because it's inherently beyond the realm of phenomena, beyond the realm of cause and effect, and is absolute, which is what we refer to as the joy of being or happiness or love, because it's undivided. In love, there is no division. In love, there is no red team and blue team.
Right.
Yes, it's undivided.
There is no opposite for love.
Sorry, when?
There is no opposite for love.
Oh, yes, no opposite, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it's beautiful. Okay, well, thank you all for your love and your friendship. Lulu, nice to meet you. Anna,
Thank you.
Charlie, hello, Holly, Mina, hello, Mina.
Thank you so much, Magdi.
To be with you, and Frank, hey, Frank. George, hi, George. Grace, Holger. Hola, Gloriana.
Hola, Magdi.
Patrick, and Isaac. Hola, Isaac. Lovely to be with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.